part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, that is so good at understanding and making sense of your experience is different than the part of the brain, more in the brainstem, cerebellum, where the trauma signature is lodged. And so there's a way that it's kind of like these two different parts of the brain, and understanding doesn't resolve the trauma. A more bottom-up, somatic-based experience is what seems to be more effective.
Wow. I could talk to you all day, so I have to be mindful right now. Okay, well, you've given us some practical advice already, but what are just some places you want to land the plane of things you know to be true, some healing advice from our community, and where you want to take us?
For landing the plane, what I really like is to encourage people to come up with a menu, an a la carte menu of what they're going to do when they feel dysregulated. And even to get a sense of what it feels like in your body when you're dysregulated. And then develop a sense of, okay, once you've got your menu items, and I'll get to those in a second, what does it feel to be wholly regulated? Maybe how you feel after the most exquisite orgasm of your life. Like, that's the touchstone, the felt sense that I want people to know, because that kind of gnosis of what regulation feels like, that should be what we take forward. Because once you have a sense of dysregulated versus regulated, in some ways there's no going back. It's a one-way door. So what's on the menu? What's on my menu is probably different than what's on your menu. You already mentioned neurofeedback. So I spent, 6 months doing neurofeedback. Didn't seem to make much of a difference for me. But I can tell you that meditating for 30 minutes every morning, that's the right dose for me. I'm someone who had early childhood trauma before age 3. So I have to have a daily practice that allows me to be in a state of calm, and also my mind-body connection is really clear. Because I'm someone who tends to hang out up here. I go upstairs and I cognitively process the world. I think of it as functional dissociation. So the more that I can create these pathways where I really feel what's going on in my body, the better. So meditation helps me with that.
Well, so I'm a long-time meditator, and there's so many forms and techniques for meditation. Like, what worked for you? What locks you in?
Well, this has changed over time. So I'm someone who started meditating with my great-grandmother when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
So we would go to yoga class, and the whole purpose of yoga, as I was taught it, was that you prepare your body with physical asanas so that you can sit at the end, and you can create stillness of the mind. So I tend to focus on breath. That's what I learned initially. When I was 17 and in college, I learned transcendental meditation. So I practiced that for years. I found it really helpful. And then I found I'm someone who's got attention deficit, is probably one of my trauma gifts. And I like to vary kind of the structure of my meditation over time. So more recently, what I've been doing is holotropic breath work. So I was deeply immersed in that for about 5 years. And I can get psychedelic experiences with holotropic breath work without taking any medication. More recently, I'm doing something called brailing, which is where you create an immersion practice. It takes about 30 minutes, and the last 2 minutes of it, you're connecting to the future and co-creating with spirit what you want in the present moment. So that's a little woo-woo. I am from Northern California, but those are things that work with me, and I appreciate this point that there's so many different ways to do it. This idea that you sit and mindfully notice your thoughts, that doesn't work well for me. It works for some people, it doesn't work for me. Yeah. So in terms of that a la carte menu, it can be a lot of different things. So meditation, certainly on there. Maybe separately mindfulness for some people. It could be orgasm. As I mentioned, I love orgasmic meditation. That's something I did for about 10 years in its heyday in like 2009 to 2019. I also find that time with girlfriends is such a powerful regulator. There was this old meme that came out of Stanford. A psychiatrist at Stanford wrote an email that got passed around millions of times. If you're a man and you want to improve your health, be with a woman. If you're a woman and you want to improve your health, be with your girlfriends. So there's something about girlfriend medicine that I think is really critical. Women know how to co-regulate, and you can really feel that. So one of the ways we deal well with stress is to tend and befriend, just like you and I are doing right now.